Hello and welcome to the Pinecrest Business Association Spotlight on Community News. I'm your host, Vanessa. I'm the president of the Pinecrest Business Association. And today we're talking about two things that touch almost every family, and it's aging at home, finding the perfect home for our loved ones to age at home, and finding the perfect home in Florida. And today we have two of our very, very special members, Anna Pol with Pol Realty and Elie Miles with FirstLight Home Care. Welcome. Thank you for coming to the show. Anna, a question about the market today. A lot of people, are wondering about the market. Can you just give us like a little recap on what's happening, the spotlight, and how is Pinecrest in the spotlight also as well in the real estate area?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Very kind. Well, asking like how's the market is like asking how's the weather in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so different everywhere. Even here, like if you look at the Pinecrest market and you look at the East Kendall market right across US 1, it's totally different. Pinecrest is still a buyer's market right now because, there's a lot more inventory than buyers. So it's getting a little more balanced than before, thankfully. We're getting there. Now, I think the worst years, let's say, are over, I think. But it is the market for savvy sellers. I mean, you can't be like in 2021 that you would put whatever price on the market and it would sell. Now buyers are a lot more educated. So they're not going to, pay over what they think it's worth. So houses are selling. It's not like nothing's selling, but if you see the difference, like in the list price, the average list price, what's listed is around $5 million, and what's selling, the average sold price is around 3. So you can see that the difference is, people have to be reducing prices to be able to sell, but they are selling, and the Pinecrest market is never going to be in recession or anything like that. It's a beautiful community.
And for somebody that's looking to buy their new home or somebody that's going to downsize, I think this is one of your special areas where you help people, empty nesters, downsize. What is the single piece of advice that you can give them right now in today's market?
Well, I tell them, we even have a questionnaire to make sure that people understand everything that's involved in downsizing so they can see if it's really for them or not. The main thing is, of course, if you are thinking of downsizing, what's the reason? You want to be closer to your kids. You just have a bigger home that you don't want to maintain. You'd rather travel, costs, whatever it is. If there is a reason, because I know, I mean, I just went through that 5 years ago, and it's so hard to leave the home where you raise your kids.
Yeah.
And you have so many, you're packing and you're crying because you're packing all these memories. So we provide like a service that is not only, let's buy a home and sell your home. No, we go through everything. We hire home organizers that will go with them very patiently, people like you, that understand what they're going through to try and see how we can help from even the beginning, even if they are not ready to sell. Maybe when they start the process, they see they're not ready to sell. Well, that's fine. We just want to make sure that they're going to make the right decision, because we know it's a very, very hard decision to make.
And with all the competition that I'm sure you have in real estate, what would you say sets you apart? And I think you touched in some of those points now, saying that you help people, you go above and beyond helping families. What is another key thing that you say, this is what we have to offer?
Well, the main one is we are a small family firm. We are 5 agents. One of them is my son. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm a computer engineer by profession, but when I had my children, I was living in Connecticut, and I remember going to New York to work, crying on the train because I was leaving my kids with the best babysitter in the world, but it wasn't me. So I wanted to have something that was more flexible. So I started doing this 20 years ago. And now my son just graduated from in film studies, and he decided to stay with me. So he's doing the social media part. What we do is really the personalized service, because the big companies, maybe they bring their best person for the sales call, but once they get your listing, they send you a junior person.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have to talk to the broker, then you have to make an appointment, and it takes weeks. With us, you're always going to have me. I'm the broker. I'm the one that is going to be with all of my agents. I go to all of their appointments. I'm always behind it. So the main thing is, if you want a real personalized service, My clients that work with me 20 years are still my friends. I mean, honestly, that's what we do.
That
Because
says a
that's
lot.
what I care. It's not, I tell every time my clients say, oh, I'm so sorry because we've seen 20 houses. I said, don't be sorry. My goal is to find you the perfect home. If we do it in a weekend or if we do it in a year, that's what matters. I'm not going to drop you because in 3 months you haven't found anything. I know, boo. No, never.
Good. Now, real estate is a lot about community. How has being a member of the Pinecrest Business Association helped you in the community, helped you thrive? Has it helped you in any way grow in the community?
Absolutely. I joined, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago, and it's you learn to about the community itself and about I love in our, if you see our Instagram, we do highlights of every single business in the community because we want people to understand what the community is for. When you move to a place, you're not moving because the house has a pretty backyard. No, you're moving because it's in a neighborhood that you feel connected to, that you feel good. That's why it's also so hard for empty nesters sometimes to leave Pinecrest.
That there's a sense of community,
yes,
that they can they can be involved also.
So many. And for seniors especially, well, you know, you're going to talk about it, I'm sure. But I do like senior Zumba they have now. Oh, great. I mean, free in the community center.
In the community center,
yes.
yeah.
Then they have mahjong classes. They have so many, they have bingo, I know. They have so many things for seniors that they don't have to be home, you know, by themselves. They can do things and are encouraged, and you know, socialization, as she'll explain, is so important for
and I'm
seniors.
sure being involved in the community, since you know of all the events going on, you can also help them connect with the people in the community and the events and everything that's going on. So that's also a plus. Now, Elie, when families realize like their loved one needs extra help at home or they need support, when it gets to that point, like it feels overwhelming, like you don't know what to do. Like how does FirstLight approach this? How do you help people in this first stage?
That's a great question because most people don't come to us until they feel that pressure. A lot of people don't plan ahead and then don't say, let's bring someone around to see if my parents feel comfortable. It actually happens in that rush. And a lot of our clients call us in that state. They're nervous. The children are stressed. Sometimes the children live outside of the state. They're coming in, they're helping them, and it's quick. Can you help my mom? And we're there the next day. And we actually had a case like that. She called me on Monday. We were there Tuesday morning. I was there with the caregiver, and we've been there ever since. And we introduced the caregiver. So unfortunately, that's how we function as humans, right? So we sort of are reactive, and that's pretty normal. And what I say is it's okay. You know, as long as you're able to identify that the need is there, that your loved one needs extra help, give us a call, and we'll figure it out. I like a lot of the things that Anna was saying because it's very much what we do as well. You know, it's about being personalized. I'm the owner, but I'm also a mental health therapist for over 20 years. And so I bring that piece into every person that I touch. I talk to our clients. I try to we personalize the care from a medical perspective with our nurse. You know, we personalize what we're going to help them with. But we're very involved in that process. I'm very involved, care coordinator, our nurse, in making it personal for them, making sure that we assess what the need is and how we can help them.
Now, it's about trust. Families need to be able to trust you. And again, in being involved in the community, how do you give families that extra sense of like feeling secure, that they can trust you? How do you give them that support or that reassurance?
Yeah, you're right. And it's hard to do that, right, when you don't know someone. Trust is usually comes with time. But you can show them that you're someone they can trust. I've been very fortunate to be in the Pinecrest Community Center as well and do some of the activities there. I did a couple of events there as a mental health therapist of how one was how movement improves your mood, and the other one was aging and your brain. And I feel like activities like that, we do them just to get to know our members, to get to know the community. And it's interesting because you get to see who comes to the centers, what kind of activities do they have, who's involved, right? And I think that helps us to build the trust. So people know that we're in the community. We know we go to the places they go to, right? And also just partnering with people, you know, like Anna, you know, if I had where we can talk to each other, right? We can collaborate on people with cases that maybe need to downsize or are maybe questioning it or maybe can't get around the house as they used to, right? So meeting other community businesses has been very helpful.
Now, I know that the family needs to be able to trust, and let's say they get you, you come in. How do you deal with the actual elder person or their father, when they're in denial, when they don't agree that they need this? How do you come over that?
Right.
How do you overcome this? Because I'm assuming
Yeah.
this must be very hard for
It
them
is.
to understand and accept it.
It is hard, but there has to be some level of acceptance, right? We want them to feel comfortable. So we're never going to put them in the situation where we're going to come in and they're not fully ready. So that conversation is happening before we step in, right? Whether it's with us or with the family. So they have some knowledge that we're coming in. Once we come in, what we've done sometimes is just we start slow. So we have the caregiver come an hour and a half instead of maybe the full 3-4 hours that the family thought would be the amount that they need. And we let them just build that relationship, right? You know, let's go to the supermarket together. Let's pick out some fruit. Let's make a salad together. So let's go to the supermarket and pick some ingredients so that you can bring it back and you know, make a salad together. So trust comes with time. Relationships come with time, right? There needs to be a level of comfort in the beginning where hopefully we're pairing them with the right person, and we're very careful in how we match our caregivers. Again, as the owner, I'm very involved in that process so that we're able to match a caregiver with a client in terms of their needs, but also personalities, right? If you have a caregiver that's very talkative and you have a client that needs their quiet time, that's not a good match.
Mhm.
So then we try to make a good match initially, and then it takes time. Right. So we feel that just going slowly, introducing them carefully, having them be engaged in activities that they enjoy together will help them to create that bond with time.
Now, this question is for both of you. When families are planning for the long term, whether it's to buy like a multi-generational home or a home that they can actually see themselves aging, like what considerations should they keep in mind for this and for both of you?
Well, first, that they have to see the community, just like in
Community.
here. Since they're moving from here, maybe, I don't know, I have some that have moved to Port St. Lucie because it's,
Mm.
you know, less expensive, or to Georgia. Well, anywhere that you're moving, first go and see what's available. If you feel comfortable, you know, with the restaurants, with the community center, with things that you enjoy doing around you, because that's, you know, that's your daily life. You need to be comfortable where you are. So that's the main thing, not just go buy a home, you know, wherever. No, you have to visit the area and make sure that you're comfortable there, especially if you're moving, you know, far away from where you're used to.
And as far as aging at
Yeah.
home, what do you think? What do you see?
I think it's a great question because you mentioned multi-generational, and that's something that even I'm thinking about. I need to be able to have space for when my parents can no
Mhm.
longer be in their home by themselves, right? And I think a lot of us are in that sandwich generation
Yes.
where perhaps we have kids and then we have parents at home, right? Or maybe they're not home, but we know that at some point they might have to come to our home, right? And I'm assuming as people are buying a home, a family with, you know, growing children, that's something they have to think about. Do I have enough space so that we can slowly transition to maybe bringing the parents into the home? People are aging at home. We're staying alive longer. And people want to age at home. I mean, there is a lot of really amazing independent living, assistant living
Mhm.
situations. Those are always great options, which we actually can help in those settings as well. But a lot of people want to stay home. They want to stay in their comfort zone, especially when it's someone who might have memory issues and memory concerns. Switching them from one place to the other could be very disorienting for them. So yeah, for us, we work with families that sometimes have their parents at home that are considering how can we accommodate them in the future, right? And if not, deciding what is another option for them in terms of placing their
And
parent.
interestingly, a lot of the constructors now, the developers, well, you probably know,
Mhm.
they are building these next generation homes that they call. They have like a little apartment
Yes.
right by the house that has
Yeah,
its own
next gen.
entrance, its own,
Yeah.
its own community, its own kitchen. So they feel, you know, that you can still take, you know,
But
keep
they
an
have
eye
their
on
own
them.
space. They're independent in a way.
Right.
So especially I think for parents and for older people that have been very independent, they've had their own business. Getting to this stage must be very difficult. Have you found it that they typically prefer to live by themselves and or is there more like a pushback of come and live with me, like come and live with your kids? What do you typically find that is more common?
I think it's really personality, right? It really depends. A lot of people just really enjoy being on their own and have been very independent. But I think it depends too what's going on. If there is some dementia, for example, if there's some memory issues and being on their own is a safety concern, it's important to be able to find them the right care, right? And sometimes it is living in a sort of efficiency or the next gen or what it's considered, right? So I think it's very independent, but it depends on the person. You know, everyone has their own personality, and a lot of people would enjoy being with the family, and we found that with some of our clients being in their space. And then we have clients that have been so independent and then choose to be close by and still have the help.
And Anna, do you feel like once your clients transition to a smaller and they downsize, are they typically happy? Do they typically regret? How do they feel? Like how do you think this makes them feel?
If you do it correctly, like if we do our job correctly, they are happy.
They're happy.
Like at the big, I even had a client like a year ago. She was a little upset, I think, at the end because, you know, she paid more than she wanted or blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, I didn't want to move. I said, but nobody forced her. But what? And then a year later, she said, I'm sorry. I don't think I ever thanked you for finding the space for me. But because, you know, it is so hard.
It is hard.
My neighbor is going through that, especially now. She was always a tennis player. I mean, until she was like 85 years old. She was super. And now she's getting dizzy spells. So, and she has 4 kids, and they want to, you know, to help have her, like I was just talking to her about it, having at least have someone help her at home or take her to an assisted living community, and she refuses. So it's little by little, you know, been talking to her and see if we can at least, like you just said, have her somebody go an hour and a half and see how she feels, and just give them a little help and see, you know, you have to be very careful.
I think it's great being part of like a community where we have people like you and you that we can actually all collaborate. Like everybody has something to offer and we can all work together. Now, just speaking again about the community, just to wrap it up, both your businesses are deeply rooted in the community. You're very local, you're very involved. What makes Pinecrest such a special place to live, to work, and to do business?
Well, again, it's the sense of community that I've found here. Of course, it's a beautiful place to live, but everybody, I mean, I was involved in a happy program that they had that they were like doing this program that I think it was the first here in Florida, that they wanted to see what made people happy to live in Pinecrest, what things they enjoy doing, to see if they could do more of that. And they did bike paths for people to bike ride more safely, and they are revamping this other park because there's so many parks that it's incredible, but you know they can never have enough parks. So that it's something that it's unique here. Is it downtown or South Miami? They are taking down a beautiful park with trees that are 400 years old. Boom, they're taking them away to put a skyscraper. That's never going to happen here.
No, it won't.
So those things are, for me, it's what it's special about Pinecrest.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pinecrest has it's a beauty, right? I think it's growing so much. I'm sure you can see that, but you can still hear people say, "Oh, my kids came to this school, and now their kids are coming to the school." We recently started working with a client who had been in her home for 30 years. And she's like, my kids went to this school across, you know, and now she has grandchildren, right? So, and her neighbors, they all know each other, right? So I think it's that sense of knowing each other, knowing the stores that have been there for a long time, knowing the businesses who they've sort of, you know, grown up with, and multi-generational. You know, you hear the parents and then the children who maybe go to similar schools in the area, and then their grandchildren, those parents' grandchildren. So I think Pinecrest, that's what makes it so special, right? That sense of community. Even though it's expanding and growing, it still feels like people know each other. You know, and
it's a village.
Yeah, and you run into people and they know each other, right? And it's beautiful.
Are there any last closing statements that you really want to get the word out about your company and about you? Where can they reach you? What do they want? What do you want people to know about you? Just as a last.
If they want to really see about me, they can follow us on Instagram at Pol Realty. Like when my son started working with me, he forbid me to be in social media because he revamped that. Well, because he thought I was doing a horrible job.
Oh, okay.
So, according to him,
he was bringing up.
Oh my God! Yeah, at the beginning I was like, oh no, because of course it's not my style. But it's been so great what he's doing. So if you go there, you'll see always highlights about the community. how the market is doing. Like today, especially, I just put some at the beginning of the month. I always put, how was last month, how things differ, how things
You're
are
very
improving.
active, and I like that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll tell my son. Yesterday we said from visiting agents, he always says he calls me the queen of Instagram. So, well, not me, but yeah. So that's the way. That's the way to get to know me, to get to know my company, and to get to know not only Pinecrest. I do the surrounding areas too. All this area.
And since you mentioned your son, has there been any clashing between the two different generations? He's probably very techie, and you're not a lot.
From the beginning, at the beginning, I was like, no, you better go work with another broker. I cannot. This is too much. But now it's fine.
Now
like
it's
we're all
wonderful.
in our lane, and we do, each do our thing. And I let him boss me around, because at the beginning I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, okay, boss.
I love that.
It's awesome. It's
So
awesome.
now you know that he's gonna take care of you when you are aging.
I'm telling him, you have 5 years. I'm retiring. So you better get the business all running smoothly only by yourself, so I can retire.
That's great. What about you, Elie? What do you want people to know about you? Like something that I don't want you to leave here and be like,
Right.
oh, I forgot to say this, because I hate it when that happens.
Oh, I know. I guess what I like to say and just finish up with is that I really, really love what I do. I've been a mental health therapist for over 20 years. And I first started with the elderly, going to the homes, doing therapy. And I feel like it's come full circle for me, just kind of working again with the elderly. I really enjoy when we have a call and we have a client, and to see the whole thing start, to meet that client, to see what their needs are, to find the right caregiver that's a good match. And they go to that first visit, we introduce them, and then we get that phone call. And sometimes I'm nervous. I'm like, how did it go? And how did it go? Because they're there, you leave them there. And that's what I love, getting that phone call saying, she was amazing. My mom, my dad really enjoyed it. They were hesitant, now they're not. So I really love what I do. I think as a mental health therapist, I bring that piece into our business, the compassion, being able to feel what they're feeling, understand the caregivers, but understand the client as well. We don't have minimum hours, so that sort of helps us, because sometimes people can, and we've had people say, hey, I'm going on vacation. It's like, yeah, we can help you while you're on vacation. If you stay with us, that's great. If you don't, that's okay.
Well, that's
and
good.
we've
It's
had
not-
clients.
no commitment, no contract.
No.
It's like, okay.
Yes. And so we've had clients where we help them while they go on vacation. The adult child goes on vacation. And sometimes they've stayed with us. They see the value, and they've stayed with us for a couple hours a week. And sometimes they'll call us again when they have another vacation and they've been out. But that's what I really enjoy, hearing, that we're doing a good job. I get goosebumps and I get excited when we've had a good match and they're happy and they're satisfied.
Do you personally go and visit
I do.
as well?
I went to 3 houses yesterday. I do. I introduced 3 caregivers yesterday. So, and I go in the beginning to just get to know what they need, because I feel like, just as a therapist, I feel like I have that sixth sense where I can actually say, okay, this would be a good match. It's not just about location and about the need of the client, but who would be a good match in terms of personality. So I do visit the clients, and I actually wish I can do that more often. If I can, as we continue to expand, obviously, if I can just go visit the clients, I'd be happy, and not do payroll.
Yeah. I prefer
That's-
being out on the field as well. I'm
Yeah.
sure you do too.
And
Oh,
talking
yes.
to people, getting to know them.
That's the
and-
best part, talking
Yeah.
to
That's the
people.
best part.
Yes.
And thank you, talking about business. What you've done with the Pinecrest Business Association has been incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of
Yes.
fun. I'm getting to know so many people. Like before, I really didn't do as much networking as I am doing now. And I absolutely love connecting people, getting to know people. I love it.
Yeah, but I like the networking that it's like an informal environment. When we go to Sergio's or to
Yeah.
Fogo de Chao,
That's what I
you
want.
feel like
I want
a
it
little
to
party.
be. I want it to be like it's casual,
Correct.
like it's fun, like people feel at ease. Like I want everybody to just feel comfortable around each
Right.
other, because we see each other. We're starting to see each other more often. So I feel like now, we're getting more comfortable talking to each other, familiar faces. So
Yes.
I like that. I don't want it to be stuffy. I want it to be, relaxed and fun.
You're
Well,
doing a
thank you
great job.
both.
Yes,
thank you
thank
both.
you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for being involved in the community. And if you want to know more about both of you, your informations are in the Pinecrest directory, and also we can check out your Instagrams.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And stay tuned for our next segment.